Good morning, YouTube. We are starting a new project. I don't know how much of this I'm actually going to vlog, but we are going to be starting a lawnmower build, and hopefully it goes as smoothly as I have it planned out in my head, which I'm sure it probably won't. So I'll take y'all along the journey and show you what I build, the problems I go through, and just overall the whole thing. First, we are heading to Macon to pick up a trailer from U-Haul. And then after that, we're gonna be driving a little bit further south to be able to pick up the actual mower itself. Here's my little setup, bought that yesterday. I got some tow straps, and that's for the compression checker for the mower once we actually get it. It is quite the foggy morning too, so that's just one more little added feature of today's problems. We have just gotten the U-Haul. We are now on our way to where the mower's at. Well, boys, I have the mower, and he also threw this in. The guy had a really nice truck. I'll put some pictures of that on the screen, but yeah, I mean, other than that, we're just gonna be headed back home, get this thing cleaned up a little bit, try to get it started today, and we'll see how it goes. The mower is now back. The trailer has been returned to U-Haul, and looking this thing over, it honestly looks just perfect condition. The tires are not dry rotted at all. Both of them, they look like they all hold air. And so after kind of like looking around on this thing, this is a 14 horsepower Murray riding lawnmower. It's got a 42-inch deck, and it seems like it was made in 2001, maybe 2002. I looked at the air filter, and it's a little dirty. I could maybe blow that off and maybe get a new one here soon. Try to see if we can put some gas in it, put a battery in it. Didn't come with like a battery or anything, so there's where that would go. We got the key for it. I'm gonna be taking off the deck first instead of trying to get it started, because I already hooked up a battery and it seems pretty promising. But we're just gonna remove this clip. I've already removed this one from here, and then there's gonna be one more right there, and one more in the front that I forgot. This whole thing is gonna come out. There's a little pin here, but that is what is holding up the deck. And then afterwards we can just scoot it forwards and take this belt right off. All right, just removed the deck. I said to remove this part from the very front. It ended up being really hard. It ended up just being like super rusted. So I removed this part first to just drop it out, and then later on I just got like a massive wrench and grabbed onto this and kind of just wiggled it back and forth until it came out freely. But this is how it sits currently. A lot more space underneath. The main reason I haven't tried to start it up yet, although it does look very promising, is this is what the fuel filter currently looks like. I think just before we try to start it up at all, because there's no fuel currently in it, I think I'm gonna just try to change that out tomorrow, and then maybe blow that out a little bit, and then we'll try to start it up for the first time. All right, this is the day 2 of working on the Murray motor. We are going to take that intake out, maybe just blow it off and maybe get some of this dust off, because there is quite a bit. And then we're going to go ahead and replace this fuel filter with this one. It's a little bit larger, but I think it'll be fine. Wow, who knew getting a fuel filter off could be so hard? Oh my goodness. Well, I hope this one goes on a little bit easier than that one came off. New filters installed. I ended up taking that whole front off, by the way. It was hard to get to. So I'll go ahead and put this cover back on, and then I'll blow this out real quick, put some gas in it, and try to see if we can get it to start. All right, well, we have put gas in it, and there's nothing going through the fuel filter quite yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to crank it over, try to see if I can get the fuel going. I hooked the battery up, and I guess we'll just see what happens. We got fuel. Let me look at these real quick. All right, I think I figured out what our issue was. I didn't have the choke out at all. So I'm gonna do the choke, maybe the throttle, and we'll just see. Yes, sir. The choke is completely out, and or completely, you know, whatever that position is. Looks like the throttle works pretty well, and so I guess we'll give it a little test ride, and I'll start filming back when I get it to move. All right, it's a little bit later in the day. We are gonna do a speed test in the top gear, so we can figure out the gear ratio and kind of where we want to go after this. Well, as you can see, we ain't go all too fast. Oh, I forgot to latch the hood. Oh well, I don't think it really matters. It only goes about 5 miles an hour. So if we switch those pulleys, I'll do the math real quick, but I think for now, I'm gonna just try to swap the front smaller pulley with the back larger pulley. You can't really see it, but basically you're gonna switch these two, because this one's huge and this one's small, and if you make this one large and that one small, basically flips the gear ratio. After that, we'll see where we're at, and I'm probably gonna order an aftermarket pulley to go even faster, but that's my plan for now. So one more thing that I didn't show off camera, I kind of restored that, so now you can actually read what it says. Before I'll put up a photo and you'll probably see it in the other clips, but I couldn't actually tell what type of gauge it was. I thought maybe it could have been like run hours, or the gas gauge is up there, and that also doesn't really I don't know if it works. It looks like it's on empty. It's probably got it's probably close to empty, honestly, but I'd like to restore that as well. All right, it is day 3 with the Mower lawnmower. What we're gonna be doing today is I gotta figure out some way to lift this back end up so I can take the rear tires and the rear differential out. The reason why I'm doing that is because that seems to be the only way that we're gonna be able to get the massive pulley out, and we're going to be swapping that with the front one. And I was thinking maybe I could come in from the top, but as you can see, there's not really an access point for that. So it looks like this whole thing is going to have to be jacked up. I really don't know how I'm going to do this. I was thinking maybe I could prop it up on this somehow. So this might work, might not. I guess we'll find out. So figured out a way to jack it up. Got the bolts loose, a little bit rusted. Let me put that back just in case it falls, but other than that, we're gonna continue to drop this bottom frame out. So far, the only thing that I've done is remove these bolts, and I think there's more stuff holding it in. Got it out. All right, so if you're wanting to remove the rear end of this Mower lawnmower, whatever, I keep calling it just a motor. Yeah, you have to undo those two from both sides. Then I undid this bolt, which is to the transmission. It was a pain. And then there's another bracket right here. It's kind of dangling, but there's a spring connected to it. I couldn't figure out how to get the spring off, so I just removed a nut here and a bolt here, and you know, that's from that side of the mower. Those two weren't easy. I mean, hard. Those two weren't hard. That one was insanely difficult. These were rusted, so you know, it is what it is. But now we got to remove this. All right, I'm about to be taking this front flywheel out. Oh, I got this off. It was just a little clip. Pretty easy. Just came right off. Really no issue with that at all, other than the fact I have no idea how I'm gonna get that in because it weighs 1,000 pounds. Not actually, but it is heavy. The engine, took that out. I had to use a little ratchet strap. I attached this to here through this little hole right here, and then that way the engine wouldn't keep spinning over. Then I realized that I'm gonna have to remove this because it is in the way of this whole thing coming out. So stupid. Anyways, I'll be able to get the other bigger flywheel in, or pulley. All right, well, I think I'm gonna have to call it a day here. I got the pulleys off, and this one was together like this, but I ended up cutting it. I really don't know why I even did that because, well, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to order a new part. Either that, or I can try to cut it off and re-weld it, but I think this is gonna be a tomorrow me issue. All right, Well, it is sometime later, but I have ordered a, I think it's an 8-inch pulley for the front and like 3-inch. I'll put the number up, but for the rear, this is because this would not fit in the front. It would just hit everything. It was just too big, although it would have been nice to put in. It was just too large. This is the original, what was up front. It's like a stack. I cut it in half to try to see where it actually bolts up to. And if you're looking at these side by side, the new one versus the old one, you can see that there's some extra material that I probably need for the correct spacing to line up with the rear. My plan is for now is to cut this pulley off. Instead of measuring this whole thing, I'll just cut the pulley off, and then I'll just trim what I need and use it as a spacer for this new one. Alright, all done. It's not focusing at all, but you get the gist of it. Clearly, it is a different link. So, I'm gonna cut that up, use it as spacers. Alright, spacer number 1 has been made. This is gonna be for the bottom side. So, originally, it would have looked something like that on the bottom. So there we go. And then I just need to make a little bit more of a spacing for the top. All right, got both the belts on, pulleys. We do have an issue with the belt though. So this is what it looks like in the front. As you can see, like, this is the reason why I couldn't fit anything more. That works enough. This back one also works enough, but the thing is that I'm gonna definitely need a smaller belt because there's so much slack. And then another issue that I'm gonna have is dealing with this right here. So when the belt is tensioned, it looks like it's gonna do this, which is not good, but it's because that is much smaller. So I might have to create some sort of bearing or something to get this to come out. As it is right now, it's not gonna be able to even drive. So that's where I'm at. All right, so it is a few months later. I'm finally back from college, get working on this thing again. I can't remember if I showed y'all in the last clip. You'll see it if not, but anyways, took the throttle out, so now it's just in here. So what I'm gonna do today is probably just take this whole front end off. The throttle is a little tough, so I'm gonna see if it's the cable or if it is, just the way that it's connected down in there. Anyways, so let me get this thing off and then I'll show y'all what I'm talking about. Also, the throttle for this thing is so complicated, but again, I'll show y'all that in a second. So now we're back with the whole front end of it off and the air filter off. So this right here is the choke. I have the choke fully pulled out so that I don't accidentally drop a screw down in there. But this is the throttle cable right here. It is a complicated, just like this pulls on this, pulls on that, pulls on this. I can't see honestly. Pulls on that, pulls on that, which finally actuates the. So, anyways, I'm gonna cut out probably about half of that. It's honestly really hard to pull a throttle, and when you do, because there's so many just things that are in the way. Here's what it looks like when I click the button to actuate all of it. See how bad of a design that is? It's either on or off. And then it sticks open. So I got the pulley in. So this right here is just gonna be like a tensioner for the belt. It's gonna go underneath it. I'm thinking like right in here-ish, but it's just to hold this belt away, because if not, it touches and rubs a lot of stuff back there because I have that smaller pulley now. All right, so I got the cable out. It honestly is very smooth. So I think what I'm gonna do is put some lube on it and see if it'll work a little bit better. All right, well, that was a very it basically just went everywhere except for where I wanted it to go. I might have gotten a drop or two down in there, but anyways, as you can see, I probably should have showed a close-up earlier. It used to look like that on the edge, but I filed most of it down and I realized it was like a bump or something. And I also, there's like a bent washer here to create some tension, because, you know, when you're using this, normally you want the throttle to stay where you want it, but here I don't, because I'm gonna have a spring. But I hope you can tell it's much easier now to do back and forth. All right, guys, well, I've taken off this. It's just 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4. Taken off like all the throttle linkage and everything, and here's part of it. So today's a new day. That last clip you saw was from yesterday. About crashed out with this throttle. I'm gonna cut a little L in this, basically reworking the throttle, and I think that either the cable's gonna connect up here or here. But what was the problem before was that the throttle would open up at 100% if you push the throttle up 10. Right now what I'm doing is went out, bought these jack stands, jacked it up, took this out to finally officially put this in it. Here's the little retaining whatever, so it should just go right on. Got it on, a little bent, you know, it's okay though, never hurt nobody. I think it's stuck on there, it doesn't even spin. Anyways, maybe I'll try to fix that. No, I'm not fixing it. Try to pushing it kind of, it's whatever, you know, it's on there. So I'll be good. I'll put that back. I cut this out of this, and later it'll become clear to see why. But I extended it out. Don't look at the welds too much. But anyways, I'm gonna put a screw on the end. So this is what my idea is. So when it all goes together, it'll look something like this. So this'll pivot right here, you know, and that way there's more action on the end. Then this right here is I'm gonna create a link from here to here, and then the throttle is going to be attached to this side. Then this right here is going to be the tensioner that's going to be underneath it. I also just needed not just a tensioner, but kind of a redirect of the belt, because without this part it's going to run into some other pieces. So I created this. Had to create a spacer, but I'll show you why in a sec. So, all right, so the reason why I created this like this is because without that piece, there's a gap. And I drilled a hole and then used a file to make it square. I'm gonna cut this square tubing up to give it some spacers so that the belt is in the right area. So once again, I forgot to record. Again, ignore the welds, but that one wasn't too bad. Anyways, so as you can see, this is what I was talking about. That's what I was going to be making. So this is going to go up into the roof of it. Cool it off real quick. So here's the plan. So this is going to go up in here like that, but it's going to keep it away from this axle, this shaft, I mean. I'm going to also cut these sides off right here and here, just so that it makes it easier to weld. Oh, that weld looks like crap. Imagine that holds. All right, pulley is now installed. All right, so this next part, I'm going to be making the linkage for this to this. Run out and grab maybe like a nut and like a washer or something, but basically just to keep this from sliding off. Also, if you don't know where to get like push rod or whatever, you can just grab these flag stakes. If you don't have them, you could probably find them. Anyways, so you can actually use this and cut it up. It's thick, but it does work. I've used it before. I just ran up to Ace. I couldn't film any of it. I literally got there as they were closing. So picked up a couple of locking washers, picked up some washers. I probably should have picked up another one, but I'm gonna go ahead and assemble this whole thing, and I'll show you what my idea is for what we're doing, and then I'm gonna bend this into shape with that. So that's my idea. I hope that makes sense. So, update, put it all back together. Here's this thing, you know, and I bracketed it up to there. You're not gonna believe this. When I used the throttle and I hooked it up already, it actually works. It actually works. And look at this. It's full close, full open. Okay, well, I just went to go test fit the, or I guess put the muffler back on so I could start it up, but it doesn't fit because the screw is too far out. So I think what I'm gonna do is just maybe cut it in half because it really doesn't need to be that far out. All right, so what I ended up doing was trimming off some of this bolt a little bit, as much as I'm gonna do. And then it still wasn't fitting, so I severely pushed that in. I also just decided to saw off one of these mounts, as you can see. But it's fine, so I'm gonna go ahead and mount this back up real quick. All right, the muffler is back on. It is time to start it up and test if the throttle linkage that I made works and actually clears. As you can see, you might not be able to. That's kind of like what I was running into with down there, but all right, time for the moment of truth. See if this whole system really worked. Oh. All right. Let's go. Alright, I thought I would show y'all as to how I restore these plastics. Here's the fuel gauge. So I pop that cap off, you know, clean this, just, you know, a little bit, whatever. And then this already looks much better than how it did. But what I do is I get like a fairly coarse sandpaper because these are like really gone. Usually they have, you can see all the cracks that are in it still. I just kind of gave up. This will be good enough, you'll see. But I did that for a long time, got down it all to where like to the finger you couldn't really feel any of it. You could just feel like the coarseness from this. And then you take like a very fine sandpaper. In the video it probably looks pretty rough, but so that gets it down to looking you know, kind of just hazy, I would say. And then afterwards what I do is I'll get my Dremel out and I'll take some of this polishing compound. All right, so here's the polishing tip that I was talking about. Wow, this one is very worn out. Might switch to this one. I'll just put some polishing compound on this, polish it down, and you'll see what it looks like. Oh, also, I'll throw up like a before and after, but I'll show that in just a second. I definitely could have gone a little bit more with this, but you know, it's good enough. I can tell what it says. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start putting this thing all back together. I'm gonna make sure the belt fits first. Yeah, let's see if this belt fits. It's a 92-inch belt. I actually don't know if I've shown the underneath. So I still got some work to do on that. I need to probably make a spacer for up top. But here's the pulley, ignore the welds. All right, the belt is on. Here's what it's gonna look like. Only problem is this right here. So this is the brake lever. So anytime I go to press it, it's kind of rubbing. So you know that's not good. So might have to make a new linkage for the brake. Just gonna go ahead and just keep tightening up all the bolts. Got these in. I need to do the linkage for the shifting, and I'll be right back. All right, everybody. This is the great reveal. It's all put back together, I think. One thing I've noticed with the belt, it is too tight. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to get out of gear unless it's in neutral. There are brakes, but yeah, so there's that. But other than that, it's pretty much done. I think I'm gonna try and test it out real quick. Put some air in the tires. They're kind of flat right now because it's just been sitting for so long. It's gonna be a little violent going into first. All right, we're in fourth right now. We're at idle.
Well, this has never happened.